I hope you're ready, Kenny.
Not at all.
Not at all? Well, people are coming. So, hi to the guys who just came. We didn't even start it yet. Just finishing the music before. So, time to begin the recording too. Yeah, here we go. So, hi everyone. I'm Jomas. There's Kenny.
Hello, hello.
So, we'll be talking about our Nations Cup final season today. We will try to do something good. We've never done that before. We had the idea like yesterday and we just try to maybe make something good. You can talk in the chat, asking questions if you want to. Feel free of it. We'll try to answer it. This time I will have a look on the chat, which I used to not do because I'm a bad streamer. So about the quality, it's only 360p because, you know, my internet is kind of potato. Can you come and talk about the Mazda? No, it's Nations Cup, Alex. Nations Cup. Mazda is not a nation, you know. It's not a nation. So I tried to have all the replays of the Nations Cup. I don't have all of them. I missed the karting race and the Nürburgring GP to the fourth and the second to last round. And Kenny, what round you missed? The karting too?
I'm glad you're asking. That's why I'm delaying a little bit so I can find out which one I missed.
I know you didn't make the karting. Yeah?
Yeah, I missed the karting.
And you didn't... there's another one you didn't make. Well, whatever.
Yeah, round 3. Whatever round 3 was. Was that the karting?
Yeah, it was the karting because I did the round 4 hoping...
Oh, right. I didn't do the F1 race.
Yeah, the F1 race, which I did. I was really scared of that race.
Yeah.
But I have a replay for NERP GP. Well, I don't have the replay for the NERP GP. And so far, I have had it for Kenny. I should have uploaded it. But let's start with the first race we've made. It was Brands Hatch with the Group 3 cars. So, as far as I remember, I took the 911, and Kenny, you took the Lancer with the French fries livery.
Yeah, I did.
So, while it's loading, I think I did the pole position actually, and you started P12.
For 15th.
15th?
Yeah, I started 15th.
I will check that, but yeah, for the first race of the season, starting in pole, I was really shocked to be already on pole position in front of Azarean from the gym team and Race Clutch Snake. Yeah. And you were 15th, that's right, with the French fries livery. Yeah. So this race really trained hard because we had very much time to train on this race. I will make the display variable. We've trained with the flat-out threat with from the American side, and we were decently good. But my quality went good, and yours, you had a bit of struggle. If you can
just remember, I had like an issue on my quali lap where I lost at least like a couple tenths. So lost a bit of speed in my quality and just I'm never good at Brands Hatch, so starting at the back is sort of what I'm used to here. So I just try to play the fuel game as always.
Yeah, and here the fuel was a big thing to care about because the Lancer was pretty good on the fuel compared to the pace it can have. But on Brands Hatch, it's really hard to overtake. I mean, I've been overtaken by Azuran because I've made a mistake. I defend the inside and I was maybe over-defending, so I just lost a bit the rear, and he overtake me. But when you start in back, and we are looking at you right now, that's really hard. It's just a train. There is maybe 10 cars in 5 seconds. Just to train, and all will be decided in the pits, kind of.
Yeah, at least a lot of the time is going to be decided in the pits. Everyone is just staying behind each other, trying to save fuel.
Yeah, and
for the most part.
For the first lap, you didn't even gain a position. You didn't lose one, but you didn't gain, and it seems almost impossible to pass. That's, I mean, there is Calstar who begins to break the pack now, but it's really compact and really. You really can't overtake, or you have to take massive risks, and if you just screw up one corner, you're dead here. So.
And this season I also try to be really clean compared to I've had some issues in some of the earlier seasons where I think I've been a bit too aggressive. So this season I wanted to change that and be way less aggressive, be more clean, which hurt me a bit here in the first race of the season, obviously, but I managed to get better at it during the season.
Yeah, and that's the opposite thing I had. I was not aggressive enough on the previous seasons, like giving too much space, being too nice, and so I really had to try to be a bit more aggressive. And by aggressive, I don't mean dirty, just like closing a bit more the doors, or trying more hard to stay in front of the guy, even if we have to lose a bit of time compared to the front. And it's really hard to not be in our position and in our way to be naturally. And you can see now that Azuran did break a bit the pack. He got 1.5 seconds of against me, and I got Snake on my tail. And I'm the only one with the Porsche in the front. There's even Alex with the Mazda here. But yeah, and I knew that the Porsche was very good in terms of quality here, which is why I made a pole. But I knew it could have been a bit of struggle in the race because it was a bit slower than the Lancer in terms of not a raw pace, but if you want to save fuel, it has to be slower in the straights, and that's why I couldn't catch Azarean from now, and I won't be able to catch him until the end. So I really tried hard to save fuel. I knew Snake that he saved even more fuel because he got the draft on me, so that's a big issue. But I tried to stay calm. He didn't try anything. I know Snake to be a bit more aggressive and kind of very aggressive sometimes. But since it was the first race of the season, everyone was a bit calmer than it should be, even though it's the season that everything matters. So if you can gain a position, you will try, and he will try in the second stint of the race after the pit stops, and we'll move a bit more forward after the pit stops. So the pit stops. So after the pit stops, there is Cosmic who didn't pit yet, and Doffer, but the top three remains the same. Like Azaran keeps the lead with the same amount of time, and Sturgon, and here comes Snake, who is very, very close to me. And meanwhile, Kenny, you gain 2 positions. You are 13. You got free air. There's no one in front of you, and you might gain a bit of position until the end, if I remember well.
Yeah, I think so. Don't exactly remember where Dofer was compared to me with the pits. I think he was behind me, but
yeah, you're right behind you, Dofer and Cosmic. So you gain 2 more positions in the pits, and since you are completely alone right now, you have like 2 seconds in front and 2 seconds behind you. So just finishing and maybe taking advantage of the guys who make mistakes, and mistakes are very easy here.
Yeah, it's a very hard track to be on the limits because the limits are grass everywhere and it's off-camber corners here and there, and you just have to be in your rhythm and just keep your pace.
Yeah, and we have to also remind that it was the first FIA race with the new tire physics.
Yeah.
And the new tire physics, from what we've experienced, made the sides of the track very more slippery, the grass and the sand more makes us slow down even more, and the tire wear is more important. Before, having 20% of tire wear was making you lost by maybe half a second, and now it was more 1 second completely. Without talking about the track limits, which were more hard this time compared to the previous seasons, with the arrival of the championships track limits. So basically the white lines does matter. Sometimes you can go a bit further, but the penalty is really, really, really easy to catch.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like the penalty or the track limits for like championship rules, but I just really wish we had a chance to practice it other than the FIA practice sessions.
Yeah, the problem we had that we still can't now, even with the latest update, we still can't have the championship track limits, which would be very much appreciated for the lobbies. Because when we train in lobbies, we don't have the same limits, so you can go a bit further, we won't have a penalty when in the actual real race in FIA you will have a penalty. So it's very hard to think that during your training races, you don't have a penalty, but you figure out you will have one during the race. So you have to take that in count, and also take that in the FIA. The physics itself are a tiny bit different. The car feels a tiny bit different. It feels more grippy a bit, and more unstable, or I don't know. There is something who changed, and you can gain few tenths or you can lose few tenths depending on how you feel. And you have maybe 10 minutes to just figure out how to drive it again.
Yeah, which is one of the reasons why every time we get into FIA sessions, it's just out in practice. As soon as there's warm-up, just out, get used to it. Feel how the road feels like. Always good to get some practice in before starting the qualifying, and then get surprised by something.
Yeah, completely. Because on this race, I remember I did improve my best lap by 1/10. I did a 23.5, which was one of the best quality lap in Europe, which I was really surprised to be able to do that. I think Lightning made a 0.2 or something like that, because Lightning, you know. But it was very interesting to figure out with the new physics how it handles in FIA, and you have to adapt your driving style a bit on this. So let's move forward a bit. Kenny, you are 10th. Someone made a mistake and you took advantage of it, or maybe a late pit stop. So I think you finished 10th here, which isn't a great result, but still decent points.
Yeah. It was sort of what I expected around here, like right around that 10th place. I didn't have the greatest pace, and I was just trying to be safe at first, see what I could do.
Yeah, so I finished second on this race, behind Azura and in front of Snake, so first French in the race. Yeah, Kenny, you finish 10th. Let's see in the game of penalties. No, 11th. You just been overtaken by Dorfer. 12th, actually. You lost to
Wow,
yeah. So not the greatest results for you, Kenny. Well, I could have won with this race without my mistake, but solid result for me, and not the best result for Kenny so far. So let's move to the round 2, what was it?
I gained 1100 points in this race, which was my second lowest overall throughout the whole season.
Yeah, could have been way better. Second race was it was the race Yamagiwa. So I have to go back on your profile. So you have that beautiful music from Gran Turismo, like the music you can have in the airport when you're waiting for your plane to come and you're just falling asleep because it's late. It's not here. My friend, where? It's here. Okay. What's nice is that you are in my first in the friend list, so every time I just see you very easily.
Yeah.
So, Yamagiwa. FIA Nations Cup Round 2.
Which was my race, you could say.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't expect it, but...
There's races like that, where you don't expect anything from your race, and you made something great. And it just couldn't have been more spot on than this race, to be honest, because it was a big lobby. I think it was 9 points.
2K8, a high 2K8.
A high 2K8, almost 2K9, which is a big lobby. So yeah, Kenny starts 3rd, and I start 15th. So it's the complete opposite of Bronze Hatch. I completely messed up my quali for some reasons. And let's see the start of Kenny. It's more interesting so far. But yeah, I will switch to me right after, because I know what happened. So I was really pissed about my quali, and I didn't have the feeling. So remember when I told that the car felt different? I really here felt it different. So on the track I'm not mastering it, and the car don't master too. I really tried to do my best, but Kenny just nailed it completely.
I don't know, something just clicked and I just made perfect laps in qualifying. It was like half a second faster than I had ever gone in practice sessions.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just worked for me.
Yeah, and now I tried 3-wide with Bigatos and McLaren. And McLaren obviously didn't see me because the car were being behind, so I just have massive oversteer. Everyone behind just avoid me. But sadly, I dropped to 18th out of 20, so it's just a disaster for me.
Yeah.
And Kenny is still 3rd, so it's even worse than Bronze Hatch. So, well, for Kenny it's way better than Bronze Hatch, but for me it was just the nightmare. I remember during this, the hood, all the display you can see, like the rankings, and he couldn't make a quali, and when he did the pit stop, he couldn't go away. He was stuck in the pits.
He just got stuck. Yeah, he couldn't pick tires or anything, so the game just stayed there. Also, one thing to note in this race is everyone is using the Renault Megane trophy except for Atho, who got pole.
Because Atho, well, no need to describe him, he's very, very good. But everyone used the trophy except him, so he found something. Maybe he felt better with that compared to the trophy.
Yeah.
And Kenny, having a very good battle here, even though he lose a position, he just try to keep clean, follow the guys, and having a strong result. And here the penalty.
At this point I was like, okay, I'm starting in 3rd. Okay, no matter what position I get, as long as I have a clean race, I still get a good position, like compared to what I expected. So I just try to stay clean, try to stay with the pack, save as much fuel as possible, have a good pit. And that was just my strategy here. I didn't want to have any penalties or anything like that.
Yeah, because on this race the penalties were very easy to catch. You put one win on the grass in the chicane we just passed, and you have like 1.5 seconds penalty. So if you have one per lap, your race is almost over. And meanwhile, Kenny is 4th. I am still 18th. I'm trying to pass the race phase, which I think he just let me pass, or thought I would be faster, so he just staying behind and save fuel by being faster. And I try to really have to take every position I could without getting a penalty, which is very hard. I'm on the limit everywhere. I even think that sometimes I should have taken a penalty, but I didn't for some reasons. But yeah, 17th, that's clearly not a good result to be a contender for the top 3 in France. Even though at this point, I was thinking that the top 5 of France would be very hard to do. So let's move a bit forward.
Everything just sort of turned around for you, like mid-season. Everything started turning the other way around.
I think the turn was the to be honest, the turn was the first top 24 race.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
But we are not here yet. We will be soon enough.
Yeah.
So Kenny is still 5th, and he knows how to save fuel because we trained that a lot and a lot. So
Yeah.
the pit strategy was pitting on lap 6 or 7 because it's not easy to. It's not like one lap on that kind of race. It's just 2 laps where you can pit. But due to traffic, it was better to pit on lap 7, even though you lose technically a bit of time. If you're not in traffic, you will gain time. So keep following the train of Winsteve and Tier Og. And Og is one of the best drivers in France. Matthew Cullen just ran away, and Atho is just on another race, to say the least.
Yeah.
So everyone pits now. Atho and Cullen 33, 34. It's between the it's in the 30s, and Kenny got 43%, so he got way less fuel to put on the car, and he gained. To be honest,
I took a bit extra.
you took, yeah, just in case to attack.
I took extra here so I could push harder for the last end, because I noticed I had more fuel than the others. So I figured if I took a little bit extra, I wouldn't lose too much time on them. Maybe even get out next to them or ahead of them, but be able to push for the whole second stint.
Yeah, and you still gain 2 positions by taking an extra fuel, so that's really, really good. You have advantage on them, and if you can stay in front of them, or maybe being overtaken, but if they got penalty, we can't see the penalties in the replays. And massive oversteer here, pretty much like me in the first lap.
And to give the position back to all
yeah.
the time I gained in the pits, I was just like, okay, just get back in his rhythm, stay behind him, don't lose him, and try and catch back.
And meanwhile, I'm up to P14, which is very, very bad. We are more than half of the race. Again, only 1 position from when I started, and 4 for after the almost spin I've made. But you can see there's a big train in front of me. The top 8 or top 10 was like 3 seconds in front, so it had a bit more fuel. I took a bit extra just to attack because I knew I had to attack. So we were with Alex too in the party, and he told that it was like a complete train, but it gets slow sometimes, so I could catch back. And we'll just move a bit forward again.
Yeah, Alex basically said he just had a wall in front of him and he couldn't do anything. Like, he couldn't get past him at any point.
So 2 laps to go. Well, technically 3 laps to go. And Kenny is still behind Og. Winsteve is just nowhere now. So Kenny I think you wanted to stay behind Og and maybe overtaking at the end, or maybe he had penalties.
Yeah, he had some penalties, so I just wanted to stay close to him, which we will see soon what happens to him. I don't remember exactly what lap.
It's one
of the last laps.
I think it's the second to last lap. And meanwhile, I'm up to P12, so I did overtake Alex and Jamie, and now I got Peyton in front of me. Peyton, Kegan, Alex, and some other guys. So, and I begin to see the wall that Alex was saying. And I also see that everyone, or almost everyone except Patom, had penalties. So I really felt the good thing coming, like, okay, not close to them, but if they got penalty, I might overtake them. Which is pretty much what will happen, because like P12 I lost a position. But yeah, it's more than a train now. It's a complete wall, like Alex said. Just a complete wall. And having the same car, it's very hard to overtake here.
It makes it a lot tougher, because you don't have an advantage at any point in the race. They're just the same.
Yeah, let's go in the cockpit view, or just... There's 5 cars in front, and there is Og. here, the second to last corner makes his penalty because I think he had way too much penalty because of cutting. So Kenny, you're back to third place, and Win Steve is too much behind you to be able to catch.
Yep.
And here I feel like I had to slow down. I completely had to slow down. There is too wide everywhere. There is cars everywhere. I feel like I'm at Paris on the road. It's just completely crazy. And it's not like the guys in front are slow. It's just McGrady, Marcola, Steve Gaming, Pato, and so far it's only German guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a lot of the fast German guys just all packed together.
Yeah, and it's so much a pack that it could be the first lap, it would be the same. And here I'm on the outside of McGrady, but I wanted to get the position, so I just tried my best to go on the outside and gave me the position. He didn't try to be more aggressive than he could be. And I see not McGrady, it was Patom who just goes away without penalty. So I thought that it would be very hard to catch, but everyone else had penalties. And I was on their tails. So I might gain a bit more positions, but meanwhile Kenny is all alone.
Yeah.
I'm doing my
At
race.
this point I was just so happy. I was just like, okay, just gotta make it home. Just
Yeah.
gotta get to the line.
And big
Don't
points
make stupid
incoming.
mistakes. Yeah.
And here I'm 10th, struggling. I wanted to have a more position here, but it was really too risky, and with the penalties I just wanted to take advantage of them because Patom was way too far ahead to get him at 2 corners of out of the line.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kenny crossed the line, 3rd place, and I'm 10th. I'm still 10th. There is many cars who will get their penalties. I'm slaloming and 7th, dropping to P18.
That's
So
a crazy finish.
wasn't the best race because my quality was just a crap and my first lap awful. But I did recover what I could, to be honest.
Yeah, that was a pretty good comeback, considering we were all using the same car and everyone in here was pretty fast.
Yeah, it was a tough lobby, but Aetho won with the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, he just ran away and never looked back.
Yep, one of the races he likes completely.
Yeah. And yeah, this was the race that gave me the most points I've ever gotten in a race before. I got the 2,500 points for that.
Yeah,
Wait.
just 2 seconds checking something. Oh, okay, nice. I don't know why, but this race hasn't been recorded, even though I tried to record it. So we'll have to try to get this audio.
Okay, yeah.
Or maybe it did record now. 2 seconds. Figuring out something. No, it didn't. Okay. So yeah, this race hasn't been recorded for some reasons. Nice. So the 3rd round was the karting, but we didn't made it. So round 4. What it was?
It was
Majori.
Interlagos, right? Yeah. Wait, no.
No, it was
It was
Majori.
Interlagos. Interlagos in the LMP1 cars, right?
Let me check.
Do you not have that replay?
I have the replays, but I can't remember the order of them.
Okay. It's only
round
80 segments.
4, 2k 6 points. Yeah, it is the LMP1.
Yeah, I got 1900. Yeah, that was one of my better races. I could have been better. You'll see. But yeah.
So Interlagos. Yeah, round 5 was in Majori.
Yeah.
Then after the first top 24. So Interlagos.
Yeah, Interlagos in the Group 1 cars, which is basically a Peugeot Vision GT1 make. Did anyone try a different car?
Some
I don't
tried.
remember.
Some.
Yeah.
Kuberton with the R18. Roosevelt with the Bugatti. And everyone else with the same car. So
GWR Jeremy in the LM55 too.
Yeah.
Then everyone else in the same.
So my livery doesn't load for me, but it does load for you, which is crazy because it's the same. So yeah,
we had the same livery.
So we did train pretty hard on this combo, but I changed my mind on the car. So I took this one like, I don't know, 2 hours before the race. So I had to learn everything about it. So I start on pole, Kenny start 4th, which is a really nice performance for both of us. And imagine, everyone got the stock livery, and there is 2 cars in the top 4 with that livery, just plain yellow, and not the best yellow ever, with my face on it. What the fuck? But we started in a very, very good position. And I don't know, I felt that I could win this race. Because I was looking at Snake, and he wasn't catching in the first lap, where normally he's already catching. And I felt like doing only quali laps. And yeah, Kenny is still 4th.
Yeah, it went decently for me for, I don't know, the first half of the race maybe. So I then started getting into issues with other people.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, when my race was just being all alone for the whole race, except the when I did pit for charging the tires, because some people tried to not pit, but they were kind enough to let me pass. I think it was TG10K and Manu Rodri. They let me pass. They didn't try it because they knew it was just not worth it. But yeah, your race was a bit of struggle. Not the first half, as you said. So we will just move to the second half of it. Like you're still 4th.
I'm 4th all the way up to the pit stop.
Yeah.
People doing different pit strategies, so we get into traffic after that. And
so you're 9th after the pit, with the people who didn't pit. In front of Kubertom and behind Aito Laura.
Yeah.
So you're trying to catch back, which is not the big issue. But the problem is to overtake and having clean overtakes when people don't want to.
Yeah, I even believe that I told Laura did pit. They just pit early and must have saved fuel or something because they got out way before me. So we are just trying to catch up to Snake and Sora and Fat, who are behind you in pace, and then there's Tenga and Manarodri, who has not pit yet.
And now TG Tenka just blocks you, and over Lightning, which isn't the tier Lightning, is really on your tail. And
Yep.
since at this point, the Italian guys could be qualified for the top 24 races. So all the Italian guys came back, and they had like already one race less than everyone, so they had to be aggressive. But
They want every point they can get at this point.
But the problem is by being very aggressive, you just hit people, just like Lightning did over Lightning.
Yeah.
Which isn't fair play.
Penalty for going wide in turn 2 there, so that really made me annoyed, and probably messed up my pace a little bit.
Yeah, it's understandable. Yeah. And meanwhile, I'm just first, running away. Snake is 5 seconds behind, kinda, and I don't know, but it's one of the races where you change your mind 2 hours before and it goes just completely fine.
Yeah, I've been practicing this car just on and off. I didn't want to drive it, but the more I started driving it, the faster I was, and just couldn't compete with any of the other cars.
Yeah, because of the hybrid system, which just triggers every time without... Because the LMP ones, you have to be almost straight on the wheel to have the hybrid system. But on this car, you can turn. You will have the hybrid system no matter what. And it triggers at 200 kilometers when the other hybrid just stops at 240. So you have more power at more speed, so it's more an advantage because you need more power to go faster in the more speed you have. Even though it's just... This car is kind of dragster, it doesn't turn at all.
Yeah. There you saw Manuradri and Alciolora going too wide and then...
Yeah, slowing down.
Yeah.
Manuradri let you pass. Well, he kind of let you pass. He gives you the inside. He tries to defend to not be overtaken by Hyrocram, I guess. But he did being passed too. And now you're in danger of Hyrocram. But he didn't try it. He could, but he didn't.
He also started behind me, so I think he felt that it was okay to stay behind me.
And then he made a mistake, so he loses a ton of time, get a penalty here. You've made a mistake too, like a bit of an oversteer. And meanwhile, I won the race. Kenny had to take care of the penalties, but...
Yeah, I had a lot of penalties for...
Mainly
for turn 2.
Yeah, you braked too late and you couldn't get rid of them and you lost 2 positions on the line.
Yeah.
Which sucks. So it was a 2k6 win in terms of points. You had 1k8. It wasn't a big lobby. There is big competitions but not big points so far. So...
Yeah.
Well...
It's still a good race for me. I was like... Starting out in this season, I was gonna be happy if I could get 1k7 average in my races. And coming out with a 2k5 at Yamagiwa and then a 1k9 here, I was pretty happy, even though I lost a lot of position, which still annoyed me a bit, but I was happy with the points I got so far.
Okay. The next race, it was
Cayman at Maggiore.
Yeah. Maggiore West. Basically it was Group 4, but the Cayman was the best in terms of pace, even though the Veyron was very annoying in the race.
Yeah. That's basically like you could take the Cayman, the Veyron, or
the Honda.
the NSX. Yeah, those were like the three main cars, and then somehow Lightning figured out that the F-Type was also good, and he could be faster than that somehow.
Yeah, because Lightning, but we talk about the good one, the TRL Lightning.
Yeah.
So I start 5th, not the best quali ever. Alex 6th, and you start 9th, which isn't too bad.
I had like, I don't know, half, like 0.5, 2.05 seconds behind Alex or something like that, and I was starting 8th. McLaren just got in between us, and wins T2, but yeah, I messed up the qualifying, and then we see a dive here by V Christian, just messing up and killing McLaren at the start.
Well, V Christian is known to be very not the cleanest driver in terms of overtakes, to say the least.
Yeah.
It's his reputation.
Yeah.
So Snake in first, Racer second, Og third, Adrian fourth, and I'm 5th. So another run to be a bit harsh too. Og is very nice. Racer, to be honest, I felt like Racer would be the shield of Snake. So Snake just go away and make quali laps, and Racer would block everyone. I thought it would be something like that, because they are teammates. So far I'm trying to keep with the pack, but I didn't have the pace for the first few laps. Trying to save fuel meanwhile. Alex is just all alone between the two packs. And you are like third of the third pack.
Yeah. I did not have a great race, yeah. I feel like everyone in the back tried way too many moves, including myself, just because you feel like you can overtake the guy ahead of you, but then you get into the corner and you're just evenly matched, and it's really hard to actually get an overtake down with these cars around you.
Yeah, and even more when it's the same car, it's pretty much the same problem as Yamagiwa.
Yeah.
The cars are kind of even. The Honda and the Porsche are here. Thankfully, the Veyron was too far to be annoying. Because the problem with the Veyron is that it goes very fast in the straights, and it's just a tank in the corner, so you can't overtake them because they are too far in the straights. But you come back on them really fast on the in the corner, so you can't overtake them. And even if you can, they will overtake you in the next straight. So just a cycle, and you can't break it.
Yeah.
Or you can break it if the Veyron goes wide and just makes some mistake.
It was a really fun race, I will say. A lot of battles, which is fun, but when you're in the race and you want points, it's very frustrating, because everyone is just slowing down and you're just being frustrated over that. And you're not gaining anything.
I did need points for the first top 24 because it was based on DR.
Yeah.
But the thing is that almost everyone had 75k DR, so the second criteria could have been either points or the age of your account on GT Sport. And in terms of points, I was 4th at this point, and it was only the top 3 who would have been qualified.
Yeah.
So Alex comes back. Kenny, you're battling very hard with Belov.
Yeah. It was actually me and Christian who was side by side first, and then Belov just followed Christian and got next to me and got the whole thing. And Pomponko in the Magic C-Train that he's really, really good at driving, which he also had good pace here. So.
And it's also his manufacturer, so he's used to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in the front, it was just following the pack, led by Og, Racer, and Azorean. I'm still 5th, just trying to save fuel and not lose the pack. even if in terms of raw pace I was a bit slower. But if they battle, I would just come back again, so I wasn't too much worried. I was more worried about one of those car guys. I think it was Hugo, who, if he made more points than me, he would have been most likely qualified for the top 24. And if not, was needing, I mean, I think just 400 or 500 more points than him. So I did need a good result.
Yeah, just to be sure that you would get in.
Yeah, so let's move a bit more. So they are battling. I'm coming back again. And I think it's here where I almost killed Racer. So it's just a train of 3 guys. And he breaks early, so I was afraid. So I went in the grass and managed to just control it. Let's just see again on this point of view. But I was really glad that I did nail the car. Like the grass, and nope, you will turn. And yeah, I didn't lose too much time. I still got the draft. But it was very, very sketchy.
Yeah, luckily there's a wall there, so like you couldn't like fall out further than that.
Yeah, I don't think I touched the wall, but it was very...
yeah.
It wasn't the best, but yeah. So the pit stops, I think it was on lap 8 or 9. It was on lap 9. Some guys did pit on lap 8. And some guys didn't pit. So on the first pack I had more fuel than everyone. And I did overtake Racer and Og, which is a big surprise for me. And Pupunku just coming back from... we still wonder where.
Yeah, like he started multiple positions behind me, like just taking positions everywhere.
Yeah, and you have the train too.
Yeah.
So yeah, train to fight for wait, what? Okay, so there's just a big pack of cars in front of you. Usually the group 4 cars just make that kind of race very close and very dangerous sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of robbings racing in these kind of cars.
Which is beautiful to watch.
Yeah, I nearly killed McLaren here. Well, was it that?
Yeah, it was McLaren.
At one point I nearly killed the McLaren in the hairpin. I was just like, oh shit. The brakes.
And Og did overtake us, and I wanted to overtake us run because I felt he was a bit slower for some reasons. So I began to put pressure on him. So I tried the overtake here, tried to brake late. I made the move, didn't give me much space, so I have to lift a bit. So I'm on the outside, and I got a better exit than him. I got the racer on my inside, but he didn't try more. Got a way better exit, so I go on the inside here, and he just don't give me space, or maybe he didn't see me. But he took 5 seconds penalty for putting me out of the track. But Racer is overtaking me. And even if I have the drive, he got the inside, which is the best here. And Pupunku is now here behind. And we are still too wide with Racer. And now the struggle begins, because the whole pack will come back.
Yeah, as soon as you start fighting someone, you're just losing time everywhere.
And I felt Racer a bit slower, but not slow enough to be overtaken. So here I do over. I think, yeah, he does overtake me again in the straight. Yeah, I didn't want it to. So I really tried to defend, at least on Pupunku. And at this point, I think Racer got a penalty in the hairpin. He did cut it a bit too much. So I only had to follow him. And meanwhile, Kenny, you're P14 fighting with Skanked.
Yeah, if you go back to the end of lap 13, one of the few last corners there, you will see how I get into a battle with Skanked. It's just I catch up to them. Sort of been following Marcola. We had a little battle, then I started following.
Oh yeah, he had a massive oversteer and he did catch, and you were just behind.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was just oversteer. It seemed like he just turned in on me. Like I got to the inside and he kept turning. So I just had to give it up. So I didn't like.
Yeah, I see what.
Out or something.
I think he wanted to go on the inside of McLaren and didn't saw you.
Maybe, I don't know. But yeah,
you lost the pack.
Really annoying. Slowed both of us down so much, and yeah, just lost everything there.
Gunther, you come back on the pack. You try to overtake Skink.
Yeah.
But the issue is that he got more power in the straight. But you managed to do it, maybe? Yeah, you can. And he doesn't come back. And meanwhile, I'm still 5th, with Pupunku and Belov right behind me, so the pressure was so much on me.
Yeah.
Racer defending. But I don't want to just try to overtake him. I just want to stay in the drive because it makes me safe in the straights. And here, because of Pupunku in the inside, I had to try to overtake Racer in the outside. But Pupunku couldn't make the move, so I stay in front of him, in for the last lap. And look at this train. It's the final corner of the race.
Yeah.
I have to defend the inside just in case. Snakes cross the line with the penalties. Og cross the line. Azuran crossed the line even though the 5 seconds penalty. And I take 4th place.
Yeah, not bad.
And Alex 10th. And you are 12th.
Just barely missed the 11th place.
Yeah. So, it wasn't the best races, but it was enough for the top 24. So, the top 24 race, the first one on Bathurst. So on Bathurst, I did qualify P10 with the same time as Oscaro Hugo with the 9th place. Kenny, you qualified. We qualified with the Jaguar. So
qualified with the Jaguar.
Basically, it was a 4 GT race, but we saw that the Jaguar could be good here and more stable, more safe. So we took the Jaguar, and T380M took the Jaguar too. So,
and to be fair, I really didn't expect to get in the top 24. I mainly just signed up for fun, trying to see if I could get in, and I got in. So here I am with all the aliens.
Yeah, so the grid was Vivevos Lightning Matu Edom, Williams Koke, Tyrell Manordri, Axoni, Tigni, Ugo, Me, Derek and Thomas, Aetho, Pupunku, Adam, Ninbu4, Beloff, Azorian, Makula, Rick, and Kenni21st. But let's see how the start goes. We are going very, very, very slow here.
Yeah, my start is just like too wide. Like we're just going 2 by 2 into the last corner of the track.
And I had really big hopes here because on fuel consumption, the Jaguar was way better than the Ford GT.
Yeah.
And here we start now at almost 60 kilometers.
Nearly needed.
And the first corner, the hard corner, deserves the name. And here we go. Dropping from P10 to P20, 2021. So what happened? Let's rewind a bit. So let's go on Aethos side. Aethos start 13th. He brakes, lift the brakes. Here, he lifts the brakes. And you go back on the braking flat out. But it was already too late. So he hit M. Thomas. M. Thomas hit me. At the same time, Derek hit Ugo. But M. Thomas hit me, so I hit Derek, and M. Thomas hit Derek too. So Derek hits Ugo again. And we both goes to the sand. And Aetho got nothing. Not even a penalty. Meanwhile, I come back P21, and Thomas P22, Derek P23, and Ugo dead last, P24. So now my only aim was to just come back as much as I could.
Yeah. That was just the worst, and it's the first top 24 of the season, and it's just like, okay, we need to get some decent points here, and that happens to go.
Yeah.
Just the worst.
Because this one is based on DR, but the two next ones are based on points. So the more points you can have here, the more safe you can be for the next top 24.
Yeah.
Because it's 20% more and 4 more cars. So in the end, it makes 44% more points compared to normal.
Right.
So I really try to be... I was so annoyed that I wanted to be aggressive, but I knew that if I go on the aggressive mode, I would just screw up. Yeah. So I wanted to overtake Racemans pretty fast because the Porsche is very slow in the straights. And Atho messed up. Atho messed up all alone in the last corner, so both, well, the 3 French guys just went dead on the first lap. That's great.
Yeah.
So here I go on the overtake for against the Porsche without any issues. And meanwhile, Kenny is just a few positions in front and just battling.
Yeah. I was just trying to keep pace, trying to, like, I was up to 16th place, and I'm just like, okay, if I can stay here, I'll get decent points compared to a normal race. So if I can get any position from here on, it will be great.
And so I overtake the Danish guy a bit after. Yeah, it was a bit after. Can't remember where though. I think it was in the... Oh!
Yeah, it's hard to
he made a mistake
for GTs because they are faster in the straights. So
yeah, I think he made a mistake here because of the pressure and fighting with the other Danish guy. So yeah, he made a mistake and just go away. And here I come back on Kenny with the same car and the same livery.
Just showing how slow I am. Just, hey, okay, that's the same car. Just gonna catch up. Easy.
So trying to catch back. So I take 2 laps to catch back Kenny. But Kenny, with the pressure, just made the little mistake here.
Just a tiny mistake.
At the worst time possible for both of us. Just made a tiny mistake, goes wide, just saves it. I got to brake because I can't pass. And since he's confused, he will be a bit slower here. So I knew how to overtake him whenever I could. And I think you Kenny, you wanted to let me pass as fast as you could.
I had the same thing in mind. I was just like, okay, I just need to get to the straight line, let Jomas pass, and then get into the building behind him, see if I can follow. Because I knew you were way faster than me around here. And if I could keep up with you, maybe I could follow and gain some positions in the front. That was basically what I was hoping for.
Yeah, and the worst here was to catch back the positions by saving fuel, because the fuel was something very important here.
Yeah.
So, since it was time, beating on lap 6 was the best because it was 12 laps. And I tried to be very fast, catching on the guy in front. I got to the pits, P15. And I exit the pits, P15 again.
And Tommaso pit on lap 5 instead.
Yeah, but he didn't gain positions.
Yeah.
I thought putting pressure on me for being the first of France. But I knew he was faster, and meanwhile Kenny is all alone. Don't have any race here, just trying to catch maybe the front and taking the car home.
Yeah, I just slowly fell further backwards now that the race was. I really didn't have the pace to be in this top 24.
And Ato with the 4 GT had way more pace in the second scene, so I just literally let him pass. I didn't try to defend or whatsoever. Just thought that, okay, he's faster, so he might catch the guys in front, so I would just take the draft as an advantage, and if troubles happen, I'm here. But he was already faster, so I didn't stay that much in the draft. And I think it was here. Insik trying to make the overtake on Belov, pushed by Azorean. Azorean kills Belov, who kills Insik. Best strategy ever. So I just gained 2 positions, but not in the cleanest way. And I think even you gain positions in that. Oh no, yeah, you did gain at least 1.
Yeah, I think so.
Insik is just right in front of you.
I gained Belov and then I catch up to Insik. Gets closer to Makula.
Yeah.
Trying to keep pace with them.
And the trouble I was hoping kinda didn't came, or at least the race just finished 1 lap too early. So I finished P12, which is decent points, but not the best I could have hoped for. When I see Adam with the Jaguar 7th, I knew I could have been a bit more than that. And Kenny P20 because of the penalties.
Yeah, I tried to get rid of my penalties, but just didn't manage to slow down enough. Still had a second, I think, and then Belov just managed to get past me.
And Hugo dead last. Next race, it was Suzuka.
Yep, one race I didn't do. Well,
yeah.
Other than the karting. But yeah, one race you did that I didn't do.
So the Formula 1 race on Suzuka, I love Suzuka. It's one of my favorite tracks. But the Formula 1 was really hard to just handle. It could spin every time.
Yeah.
So there is not much to show on this race, to be honest. The start was pretty funky because it was standing start, of course, because one make.
Yep.
And with 20 people. I didn't want to make the race, but I made it because I wanted to be safe in terms of points, just in case. And it was the right decision. Starting P4 with my new helmet compared to the previous races. Snake P7. And I often be with Snake in the lobbies. So, not the best start, but not the worst start. I was on the no pit stop strategy when the others were most likely on the one pit stop. So, the dot here affects the car very much. As you can see, Azuran just being killed because the aerodynamics just doesn't work anymore. So I'm behind Ruffle Waffle as Force Aerobee and in front of McLaren. So basically, I just killed the top 3 of Brits. And my goal was just to follow the guys. Which is pretty much what I'm doing by saving fuel because I had to save a bit of fuel during the stint. So lifting coast and just shifting early. So just following, the race is just basically that. Following the 2 guys in front. Ruffle Waffle takes the lead because Force Aerobee made a mistake. And behind McLaren 6 is just trying to catch, but you can't really because of the draft. Basically you can't go closer than 1 second if you're close in terms of raw pace because of the aerodynamics. So just moving forward. I think it's on lap 7 that Ruffle Waffle pits. So now I'm very close to them because they did battle. And I was wondering if one of them will pit. If both of them did pit, I was first because of the traffic. But Ruffle Waffle decided to pit. No, not yet. I think, well, it's the next lap. Can't remember. Yeah. Ruffle Waffle pits on lap 8 just to avoid traffic. But he will have traffic anyway. So it's only Force Aerobee and I fighting for the lead, and with the dirty I just described it, it was impossible for me to catch. Or maybe I could with taking so many risks that I maybe would have been off the race because of a mistake. And I didn't want a mistake. I prefer to secure a P2 than trying a P1 and make a mistake. At least when the points counts like that. And to say that it's so hard on this race that we were able to lap guys in top split, which is maybe one of the first times I've been able to lap someone in the top split in FIA.
Yeah.
And as you can see, Ruffle Waffle is on the P6. So far the strategy works, but we are losing pace. And here I was just so mad because this Kush guy, even though he's ghosted, he makes me slow down because of the dirty air, because even the ghost got dirty air. You can pass through it, but you can have draft of it. So in all the technical section, I've lost a ton of time compared to Aerobee who could pass him. But I was still able to secure the P2 so far. And on the last laps, I felt very confident because I had like 3 seconds. But since Ruffle Waffle and McLaren got the same flag, I didn't worry until now, completely here. And I saw that it was Ruffle Waffle with fresher tires who came back, and I was like, okay, I need a good last lap. And he messed up the chicane. He completely messed up the chicane, almost being overtaken by McLaren 6. So I was completely fine for the last lap with 4 seconds of lead on him. And yeah, Force Aerobee was uncatchable for me. So the second place is really a nice result for me. I think it was 2k6 points or 2k5, while decent points and just scoring a bit more points than I had previously. And the next stop is again the top 24.
To try and get into the top 24 because I wanted points. I desperately needed points. And if I got into another top 24 where I would only get like 700 points for being like 20th out of 24, I would not be able to make it to the last top 24, which has 2.5 times points and 1,000 bonus. So it was more important for me to try and get good points now and then get into the last top 24. So I decided not to try and get into this one.
And Alex couldn't make it too because he didn't have enough points. So I was alone on this race and I didn't feel confident. Even though Outlaw Quadrant, my Jaguar teammate from Americas, helped me on it and give me tips. And I gained the most once again. And here comes the beginning of the miracle of the season. I start P3! P3 behind Tigny and Adam. So the start is really long. I could have taken some coffee. I've put some of traction control because we started very slow, just in case. So far during the start, nothing happened with just the train because remember what I told with the dirty air with the Formula 1 car? It's pretty much the same with the Super GT cars. So it's very hard to follow. And in all the technical section, it's very hard to follow each other. So the first can run away and other is really fast, but Tigny made a little mistake. So I wanted to take advantage of the mistake, and so I did. I tried the outside. I know I could have a better exit here, so I just gone the throttle a bit earlier than him and secure my second place. So it's more than a miracle here. It's just completely unexpected. I'm P2. Adam is flying away, but I knew I couldn't catch him, so I didn't even pay attention to him. All I wanted is to keep my second place with my 2 pit stop strategy. So I did pit on lap 4 and lap 7. Tigny did pit on lap 5, like most of the field behind, except Derek. And Adam, that goddamn Adam, wanted to do 1 pit stop. But he accidentally took 2 laps of fuel instead of 5, so he did pit on lap 7 again. And yeah, so far it was a very good strategy in the end. So
yeah,
here,
it turned out to be a very good strategy.
Yeah, but he had the pace anyway, so
yeah.
When you have the pace, almost strategy is good. But yeah, I don't know if he would have been that secure if he did 1 pit stop. I really don't know.
It might have looked different, yeah. He possibly would have gotten into some traffic and some dirty air and had to overtake at least a person or two. That would have been interesting to see if that happened.
And meanwhile, because so far there is nothing which happened in the race, how was your race?
My race was pretty good. I had a terrible qualifying, a second slower than I expected. So I started in P6, which isn't bad. And then I had a clean race, got some overtakes, nothing too serious. And somehow managed to... I did better in the pit stop than... Wait. Yeah, pit stop. I did better than the others because I was in the Nissan like you and saved more fuel than the others, and I just managed to come out in P4. And again with the dirty air, Muscle Tot was ahead of me before the pit stop, but ended up behind me after, and he couldn't get close to me. Every time he got in the slipstream, he just lost pace and fell back out of the slipstream again. So that paid a lot in my favor in this race. I managed to get out in P4 by then, which gave me pretty good points. It was points I needed. Yeah, I got 2100 points for this race.
Which was basically the points you needed for the being kind of secure for the next top 24.
Yeah, I still needed somewhat decent point in the Nürburgring race, but with this I was like on the edge to being in the last top 24 after this race, so I was really happy with the points. It was still a pretty good lobby. Nisman, who was running in the lead basically from start to end. Let's see, how many points did he get? He got a 2k5, so it was a pretty decent lobby considering there was a top 24 race going on later.
Completely.
So I was really happy with 4th place in a 2k5 lobby. Got my 1100 points, so that's what I needed in this race, and that's why I didn't do the top 24, because I didn't think I would be able to get that amount of points in the top 24 race. So really happy with my decision here.
And coming back on the top 24, it's the pit strategy. Adam don't pit. As I said, he wanted to do one pit stop, and I take the decision very late just to surprise everyone to go to the pits. So Derek follows me. He got 1 liter. I got 18. Everyone else doesn't go to the pit, so I could almost make one pit stop. But from my estimations and my test, I was faster with 2 pit stops. Or the only thing I need is to be out of the traffic when I go back on track. And I got 3 seconds in front of Matu, well, behind Matu, but that means I don't have the dirt here, so I can go a bit faster until I catch them. So in terms of traffic, I was really good and really lucky about that. When Derek had to overtake PCM. And at the end of the lap, I just come back on Matu and Adam pits, so normally he should have take fuel. But he goes back now. Yeah, just now. Let me come back on it. Even though he wanted to do one pit stop, so he got way less fuel than expected. He should have the full tank. And from what I see, I think he gained 8 seconds. And 8 seconds will have been maybe behind Derek. In front of Benito Roll for sure, but maybe at Derek's points. So maybe he could have won, but it will be a bit more harder, in my opinion. But now I'm just all alone. Derek is too far to be a problem. Adam is too far for being a problem. So I just go and try to be far from Derek and trying to be fast, just to be secure about that second place, which was still unbelievable for me. I thought I would have been in the top 10 and far from the pace. And so far I'm just P2. But I still got one pit to do. And before I pit the second time, Kenny, since we both wanted to make the Nürburgring GP run 9, and I've been disconnected at the quali. We both took the Subaru WRX. We were about to do 1-2 on the grid because you made the pole position. So even with a not so great lap from me, I could have secured second place. Or even first place, and you being second.
Yeah.
But can you just explain what happened during the race? I know what happened, but I will just still let you talk about it a bit.
Basically, we go into the race, we're like, okay, not too good points. It was 2k3 lobby or something like that, so it couldn't really improve for Jomas, so he was just there to have fun and see if we could have a good race with 1-2 or something like that. And Jomas had just said to try out the WRX like, I don't know, an hour before the race. So I tried it, I did a stint, I actually did 2 stints with it, and I really liked it. It was super stable and faster than the Mainzer, who had practiced a lot earlier the day and the day before, but the WRX just felt easier to drive. It was nicer. So we got into the race. get out to qualify. We get out right next to each other, so Jomas was just right ahead of me, and Jomas just starts driving into a wall on my screen. And I'm like, Jomas, hello? And Jomas was disconnected. So I go on to qualify. My first lap I get a penalty, a 0.5 penalty. So I'm just like, okay, I'll just slow down, get rid of it, and do another lap. I was purple on the lap, so I was pretty confident in the race. And I couldn't get rid of my penalty at all. I stood still, but it seemed like it was because someone was going backwards on the track and made a yellow flag, so I couldn't get rid of my penalty because of that, because the game expects you to slow down. At least that's what we believe is the reason. Anyway, I just get rid of it like in the middle of the last corner, so I don't get a good exit on the last corner. I still managed to do a really well lap, like my best lap ever, close to. I make a little mistake at one point, I think, but it was still a pretty good lap. And then I managed to get pole, starting in first place for the race. And we all know what first place is at Nürburgring GP. That is the place you don't want to be, because turn 1 you're gonna die. And sure enough, in turn 1 we were 4 wide, minding our own business, was gonna do everything just fine, being 4 wide, and the person behind us in 5th place just braked way too late and trying to avoid the 3 people on the inside. So they swerved to the outside where I am and killed me. So back to P16, and I just try and make a comeback from there while still saving fuel, which is really hard to do, but managed to get all the way up to 5th place overall by the end. Had the Beat Gators and Dr. Hash in the race, who were really nice and saw me coming and gave space, because they obviously saw I started on pole and catching back on them, so they made it very easy for me to get a couple of the overtakes there, so that was nice. But yeah, overall finished in 5th place, which gave me, how much points? It gave me pretty good points for what it is, but I could have possibly won that or gotten 2nd place, which would have got me like 2k4, I think, or 2k3.
2k4.
Yeah. Which would have been securing me for top 24. But instead I got 1800 points, which is still okay points for me. It deleted one of my 1100 points race, so it was still a good improvement, but it could have been way better. And since it was the last race before the top 24 race, it's the only place I could improve last, and it put me overall even points with Rick BMX in the 24th and 25th position to get into the last top 24. And since he has more DR than me, he would be picked for the top 24 over me. But Rick didn't enter the top 24, and one other person ahead of us didn't enter. So I just managed to get in number 23 position.
Which is very lucky, considering
very
the
lucky. Yeah.
And meanwhile,
considering the last race,
we made the pit stops during the Nürburgring GP explanation, and have you seen? Did pit, and I was behind Belov, and it was just a pain in the ass to overtake him, even though I just went out of pits with fresher tires when he did one pit stop. So that's why I think Edern would have lost a bit of time in the traffic. I don't feel like he will lose the race. He was way too fast. But it would have been more difficult for him than just being way ahead of everyone and just driving alone. For him, it was pretty much 10 laps of quali, when for us it was 10 laps of struggle. But as I said on Twitter, is that against Edern, I thought I was in GT300. So, yeah, that was for me it was the best strategy. he did a good strategy, even though it was a mistake for him. And well, just because now just all alone, Aetho tries to just be very aggressive on the 2 seconds 2 laps, but on the last lap he just couldn't. Didn't have enough fuel, and the tires were dead. So I just crossed the line in second place, which is just miraculous compared to the pace I had and what I was expecting. In front of Aetho and Snake, my main opponents in the France standings. Yeah. And now
for the main event of the evening.
And now the best race of the season. Group 1 on La South, aka Le Mans. Group 1, so LMP1s or Vision GT cars.
Yeah.
The fastest car was the R18 and the Vision GT car, at least in terms of quali laps. But 2 months ago, Kenny and I figured out that in the 7 laps races, still against Ederm, it was faster to not make a pit stop, because here the pit stop is very long. You lose 20 seconds without doing anything, just by going to the pits. And almost 30 by changing tires and refueling. So we figured out that it would be faster to not pit again. But we didn't make the best quality of our lives. Started P9 when overall P5 could have been my lap, because Lightning did the laps I was doing in practice, and Kenny started P18, and we start in the chicanes, which is the worst ever possible. And just look at Lightning, one of the best drivers in the world, who just got caught by starting the chicanes, just a spin, dropping from P5 to P23.
I had my qualifying time, like I did my first lap, which was decent, and then my second lap, which I was up 1.7 seconds on my first time, but I had a 1.8 second penalty, so I just barely improved braking at the line, which didn't change my position, but yeah.
And I did mess up 1 or 2 sectors where the other sectors were improving. So I think I lost half a second at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I'm P8. So at this point, right now, I just wanted to go to map fuel 2 and 3, even 4 and 5, because I actually was overtaking. And what I've done is just breaking my brake bias. So I had on brake bias 5 for the corner. Just the worst possible. And burning fuel. But yeah, the first stint was to just going as fast as we could, letting people pass if they want to overtake, and taking the drive to be fast. And Aetho was following the same strategy and following me, and he just wanted to follow me, save fuel, and overtake me in the final lap. At least it's how I felt it during the race. And Kenny, which made it to the top 24 with the same livery as me, was P18 still, but with way more fuel than everyone.
Yeah, just trying to keep pace, trying to have a clean race here. Again, letting all the fast cars pass and just trying to stay in their slipstream, save a bit more fuel.
So yeah, the first thing is
running this strategy.
Just look at you, Kenny, but I think it was pretty much like me, just having a pace, being overtaken by a Snake. Maybe we'll see the issue you had here. Yeah, it's here.
I don't remember what lap it was.
Lap 3.
Yeah.
So you're surprised by Snake just braking early, so you decided to just cut the corner to avoid him and let him pass.
I tried my very best to try and avoid contact.
And you didn't hit him. You gained a position because someone died, and you didn't have penalties. So for us, the penalty system works.
Yeah. I had an issue. I cut the track because I tried to avoid contact, and I didn't get a penalty. Like, that's basically how it should work, and it's somehow it worked like that. So I was really happy about that.
And meanwhile, I'm
getting back behind Snake.
Yeah, and I'm P10, and I got way too many Vision GT cars behind me, so I still try to block them a bit. The strategy was also to block them, even for you, Kenny, because the more time they are behind us, the more time they will lose, because Toyota TS050 could make no pit stop. So basically, Alexoni could, I could, both race clutch, you and Lightning, from what I remember. But Lightning spun on the first, even not entering the first lap, so he was already out of the race, even though he's the fastest, or one of the fastest here. So it's just trying to make our laps, trying to be fast. We were doing 26 in lobbies, and we were a bit slower here, because maybe the pressure and the car feeling different. So Adam tries to overtake me here. I think I did let him pass to save a bit more fuel in the draft, so I was in map 5 or 6.
Yeah, if you look at the S's on lap 4, for me, that's one of the moves I did in order to try and like slow down the Vision GT cars. Like, I was having a Pugasinchu coming up behind me, and he wanted to go for the overtake, and I'm just like, okay, I'll keep the outside and try my best to stay ahead of him here, because if I can stay ahead through the S's, I can slow him down a lot.
Yeah, and the Nano 8 was faster.
Stay ahead.
The S's compared to the Vision GT car. So now almost everyone pits, like even Alexoni, because he didn't know how to save fuel enough. But Adam didn't, but he will have to. And I'm second. I was, I think, 11th, and I'm second now, right now. Aetho following, Tiggy following, Snake following, and, well, all the 908 cars now. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So now, we're just making the laps, being fast and saving fuel. We had the target, we know where to put the maps, because I've made the, I think I will try to show that on the video, if I can upload it after, because I will try to upload it on the YouTube. But I've made the, I took the map and I put some colors for where to put map 1, where to put map 2, where to put map 3, and what to do in case of a slipstream. And now Edward is speeding with 20 seconds lead on me, and the pit stop is pretty much 30 seconds, so he will have 3 laps to catch 10 seconds. And he will have all the fuel he wants and fresh tires, when we will still have to be short shifting and just taking the worn tires. And Aetho was putting pressure on me, because he was still in the draft, saving fuel. So I was really afraid of the last lap that he would try to get me and just overtake me when he had the opportunity, because I was on the edge in terms of fuel. And Kenny, meanwhile, is P9, but yeah, the guys behind with the fresh tires will overtake him, and I think you didn't try to defend, like just let pass.
Nah, I didn't try to watch here. It was just like the race is basically over for the people I'm next to here. Like slowing them down on the first stint is a good thing, but here on the second stint, it's like if they're gonna overtake me anyway, so we're just gonna slow down both of us. So it's better to just let people pass and try and keep in their slipstream, in my opinion. So that's what I did for the most part.
So I'm still in the lead, but Eiderm is coming like a madman. He don't have the top speed, but he got all it needs. Overtaking Aetho, almost. Aetho trying to block, so the more Aetho tries to block Eiderm, the better it is for me. Even though we don't have team strategy, because one, we are in the same team, and two, he wants my position. He wants to be first of France, because basically Snake is too far, so I will overtake him in the standings. But the first place of France is between Aetho and I. And I tried to give Slipstream to Aetho, but because of the hybrid system, I couldn't give enough Slipstream to Aetho and just making him in front of Eiderm. And he was saving fuel because he was really on the edge about it too. And I knew it was over here. I didn't try to defend against him, I just took my line. So I think he was surprised, because I just took my line and giving him the inside, but he didn't take it. So I was like, okay, we'll take it inside. And I just lied and just go. I won't defend, just go, I will take your draft. Because the whole pack is coming, Vavels and Manu Rodri, who did pit.
Yeah. Manu Rodri didn't take tires though.
Yeah.
So that's why he got overtaken by Russ in the second stint.
And Vavels overtook Aetho pretty easily. So Vavels can come on me, like, no matter what, because he's fast and got fresher tires and a good car. So once again, I wouldn't try to defend, but he will still have to make the move. I won't let him pass, just make the move. I won't try to defend too much. So here I would just give him the inside, and I thought he would brake later, so we lose a bit of time here, and I was like, oh god damn it. Aetho will try to get me now, but Vavels made a mistake, run wide, so I could keep the slipstream of the BGT car, which makes me safe from Aetho. And once again, I still got the slipstream. And Aetho, meanwhile, is in the pressure of Manu Rodri, and even Garasa. So Manu Rodri overtakes him, Garasa is next, and I'm just in front, so I wanted to have a podium. I really wanted to have this podium at least. So from now on, I was like, I had enough fuel, so I wouldn't let anyone pass. But I didn't know at the time, but Manu Rodri didn't took tires.
Yeah.
So I really didn't want him to pass me. His tires are worse than mine, but it's pretty awful. And here goes the aces. No one can pass here, and even the Nano 8 is faster here than the other Peugeot. And the final chicanes, getting a bit slower to not get any penalties, because I'm the only one who don't have penalties in that race. And crossing the line in third place, and Aetho sixth. And meanwhile, Kenny got less than half of a tenth of penalty, but forgot to take it now. So
I had 7 hundredths of a second, but I was just so focused on overtaking Snake. He had 6 seconds of penalty he had to get rid of, so I was just trying my hardest to overtake him and forgot all about getting rid of my tiny little penalty.
yeah, otherwise would have been 11th.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, the final standings of the season. Well, let the game load. The final standing of the seasons. Well, at least the Nations Cup season. For me, I finished third of my local region. I finished first of my country, so first of France, and third in Europe, which was really unexpected because when I started the season, I thought I would be maybe a top 10 in Europe would be nice, and maybe top 4 or 5 in France. So I expected many Frenchies to be really high. And in the end, I'm first of France and third of Europe. So thanks to the 2 last top 24, I've made that results. And Kenny is first of Denmark. And I think...
First of my region. And
yeah.
17th in Europe and Middle East Africa.
Yeah, 17th of Europe. So it's a really good result.
Yeah, really good. I expect it to be first of Denmark, just because there's not too much competition in the FIA in Denmark. There's a couple guys who could compete, but they just didn't have the points to get into the top 24. The one guy did in the first top 24. He got in by DR, but he had a worse race than me, so basically no points for that. And then I had enough points to get into the last one, where they dropped off. They were not anywhere close enough to get into that, so I was really safe there. Top 24 got me from 40th overall to 17th, with just one decent result here.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool.
Everything did sort out at the final race. But yeah, even for me, I'm really glad that I'm qualified for the regional finals, even more with Kenny.
Yeah.
Because Kenny was almost sure. He just needed to have decent results and be first of Denmark wasn't the problem. But for me, even in the top 3 of France, it was just a struggle. And I've managed to make P1 in France, which is still don't have no words. It's unbelievable. Just 2 good races at the right time, and I overtook both Aetho and Snake, which are really, really, really competitive. To have even raced against not in real life, but in LAN, in the eSports European League at Paris. I don't know how fast that can be. I'm really glad that for this time I did beat them. I will have to try to beat them at the regional finals, because on the top 10 we'll go to the world finals. So it will be very hard. But I will try my best there. And who knows, maybe I will be able to get to the world finals and representing France at the world finals. But yeah, Kenny and I are both champions of our countries, which is really nice. It's just a good thing to say, like, okay, I've been champion of my country online on this game, and can be proud of it, because if many people don't figure out how much work it needs and how much time it can need sometimes, or concentration, or what it takes to be at that kind of races. Because for many people it's just a game, so you're just playing but in that kind of competition it's less playing and more trying to be competitive, in my opinion.
It's a sport.
Yeah, it's a sport. It's just a sport on software.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's in a game or in real life. Like the stress of the competition and just having to perform and having to practice, and it's really like harsh on you, both mentally and physically. Even though it's a game, like we still have to like use our wheels and like race in like 30 plus degrees heat sometimes, because there's no like, it's in the middle of the summer. Whoever decided that was a great idea. Middle of the summer, I have no air condition, so it's just like, okay, the amount of air I can get through the room where I'm gaming in is all that I can cool down with. So sometimes it's just unbearable hot, and it takes a lot out of you. And
yeah, more than we can think, because even if people try to like go on the game or go on the simulator, they will just trying for trying, so they won't try to be competitive. But when you have to be at your top level and fighting against the top drivers of your region, aka the Europe and plus Middle East plus Africa, for us, it can take a lot of you, depending on the race. But yeah, this sport isn't. I think it's not too famous, at least in sim racing. So people still think it's more playing than, well, it's still playing, but depends on where. When you are doing like demolition debris lobbies, that's playing. But when I'm doing
that
practice
doesn't take
lobbies,
anything out of you.
And when you are doing practice lobbies, trying to figure out the best car when you have the choice, the best strategy for the car, and the one who fits suits to the most and trying to be as competitive as possible, that takes a lot of you. Just for example, Lightning, Tyrrell Lightning. He's one of the fastest. He's known for that. He didn't train that much for this race. He still managed to do P5 on quali because he just trained a bit before the race. But he spun on the chicane. And I think if he did train, he wouldn't have spun here.
Yeah,
so,
if he had done more practice races and figured out that, okay, starting right here in the chicane, that's a big issue. I have to like be off throttle and go completely straight before I get on the throttle. That could have possibly saved him.
Yeah, possibly. So, yeah, it's a sport, maybe less physical than some real sports, but it requires, I think, even more mental sometimes, because you have to compensate that the fact everyone can go there, because in the real sport, at least in racing, there's the budget. So many good talents can't go there because of the budget, and here the budget is way lower. So people with talent can go easier. So there's more competition.
Yeah, completely.
So yeah, that's I think that's our point of view on that. And yeah, it was a really nice season. There was up and downs. I wasn't thinking that I wouldn't make it. Kenny too, and we made it.
Yeah.
So
we made it in way better positions than we expected.
Oh yeah,
Both of us.
with the French fries fake team.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really fun. I'll try to make a debriefing later of the Manufacturer Cup, maybe alone this time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been almost 2 hours that we went on the stream. I thought it would be like 30 minutes. Yeah, thanks guys for listening or watching. And I'll try to put that on YouTube, maybe a highlight of it. Even though I missed one race, so I will have to try to get the sound of it and make a montage. But obviously I won't be able to put 2 hours of I mean, if I want to put 2 hours of video, I would have 24 hours of upload. No way I will do that. So I'll try to make a summary of it with the text I got and trying to put that on YouTube, or maybe just uploading from Twitch to YouTube. Who knows? But yeah. That was a little and big debriefing and talk about our seasons. And next step, we don't know where, but at the regional finals.
Yep, in October.
Yep. Thanks, Michael.
It'll be exciting.
See ya, guys.
See ya.